Jurassic Park is one of those movies that is considered a timeless classic, as it was revolutionary for the time with its visual effects, of which Steven Spielberg likely said, "I don't care if the technology doesn't exist, invent it, goddammit!"
A main character, digital dinosaur, had never been done before for the movies. So in a way, Jurassic Park was the first movie that ever made its main characters, where the entire success or failure of the story was dependent on these digital characters.
As well as the fact that it's just a really fun sci-fi adventure movie. I love it just as much as anyone else, but I'm not that into dinosaurs, so it's pretty much just the first movie in this now 6-film franchise that I get any enjoyment out of. And now 7 years after The Force Awakens and Jurassic World helped usher in the legacy sequel era, we are now at the Rise of Skywalker part of the trilogy. Which is kind of funny when you think about how writer-director Colin Trevorrow was supposed to helm Rise of Skywalker. So it's the 6th movie in the franchise, and at this point, it's a franchise that has unintentionally become kind of meta. Because these movies are about how dinosaurs should have stayed extinct, and after seeing this movie, it's pretty clear that the same could be said about the Jurassic Park movies themselves.
Ironic.
While I did see Jurassic World, I did not see Fallen Kingdom, which I've heard is not the best, but I went into this movie knowing about how it ends with dinosaurs roaming all over the world, which sends everything into chaos. So when I saw that shot in the trailer of Chris Pratt on the motorcycle getting chased by a dinosaur in Europe, I actually got pretty excited for this movie. The idea of dinosaurs roaming the streets is honestly pretty cool and definitely something different that we haven't seen in the franchise so far. And you know what? That scene did end up being pretty great. But you know what wasn't great? Taking that interesting setup I just mentioned and instead making it about a conspiracy involving locusts and crops. I know. And then there's the whole thing with the clone from the last movie, and I just didn't care. 2.5 hours of pure boredom, making me convinced this was a Disney movie, as in, as long as we have this beloved IP, we'll make money regardless of what the story is.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
So, with the exception of a few fun sequences, the only other enjoyment I got from this movie was those good old member berries, because after all, this is a legacy sequel.
Remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember.
And that means that we get the return of Doctors Ian Malcolm, Ali Sattler, and Alan Grant. I gotta say, I think they have more charisma and screen presence from the first movie alone than Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard have throughout this whole trilogy. Notice I called Goldblum, Dern, and Neo by their characters' names because they feel like actual characters, whereas these two just feel like inserted blockbuster leads. Especially Chris Pratt. Like, when he's Star-Lord, he's great, and he's done some great work in animation, but when he's playing these robotic, forgettable action leads, kind of miss the Andy Dwyer days. Another thing that puzzled me about this movie was the villain, Dodgson, played by this actor named Campbell Scott, who actually played Peter's dad in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I want to read the script of this movie and see a behind-the-scenes video of Colin Trevorrow directing him, because I don't know what this performance was. Imagine the bizarre ramblings of Jeff Goldblum, but without any of the charisma.
But all the mountains of produttore and I don't know, it'll all work out, I'm sure.
This guy was reading his lines like he didn't know what a single one of them meant, just bumbling around like an idiot. So while I was pretty bored for most of the movie, I did laugh out loud anytime he was on screen. But as Tom Ford felt while watching House of Gucci, I must wonder, was I supposed to? Anyway, this movie doesn't deserve any more time from me today. It's pretty forgettable and boring, and I'd only recommend it if you're a die-hard fan of Jurassic Park or consider yourself a dinosaur enthusiast. 4 out of 10. Also, if you want to see a good legacy sequel that isn't just good, but is actually pure cinema and one of the best movies of the year, then go see Top Gun Maverick.